Hi, I'd like to welcome you all here for the junior presentation. Mr. Barber will be handling the presentation portion, but prior to getting started, I'd like to remind you who your guidance counselors are. We'll start with Mrs. Smith.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all today.
Mrs. Hallgren.
Hi, everybody.
Mrs. Redfern.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Mrs. Carreau.
Hi, everyone.
And Mr. Barber.
Nice to see everyone here. Hopefully this presentation gives you some information that you can use.
And I'll echo his sentiments that we are going to share some valuable information. Remember, we are here for you. We're only a phone call or an email away. Please let your teachers know that you might need to see us. They can make a phone call and you can always come down and visit with us. Parents, if you are watching this video, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone or email us if you have any questions. And without further ado, I will hand this over to Mr. Barber and we'll get started with our presentation.
I'd like to welcome you all. And this presentation really is for the parents and or students. The information is important that both sides understand it. And again, I'll reiterate what Ms. Dooley said, that we're just a phone call and email away. Stay in touch with us. If you're not sure about something, please reach out. So some of the interesting parts that you need to take advantage of, the students have their Google Classrooms. Here's the code for the Google Classroom for the junior class, and they should take advantage of that. There's a lot of great information in there. The others, we try and keep in touch with the students using different social media. So if they have a Twitter, the Twitter account at BR Guidance, take advantage of it. The other is, if you see emails coming from the guidance department, please open them. I've talked to a lot of students and parents who are inundated with a number of emails, and so they bypass them. I will tell you the information, if it comes from the guidance office, we're not giving you frills. We're trying to give you direct information that will help you out. Now, granted, you may read some stuff that's for sophomores or for seniors, but it's definitely worth opening. So I can only strongly suggest that if you see anything from the guidance department or anything from one of the guidance counselors, please open that up and read it. Did you know? So your Gmail account, you need to make sure that you have your own separate Gmail account. Your BR account is only for internal communication. So open up one that you can use with employees. You can use it with the colleges, but I would also suggest that you make sure that's appropriate. And I would also highly suggest that any of your social media and your emails have appropriate things on it. If not, I would clean it up, because colleges and employees do go into your social media and check to see what's going on in your lives. Student meetings. When you come back from vacation, the counselors will be going around to your history class and will be handing you some important information. We're going to give you a junior checklist. We're going to give you a brag sheet. We're going to talk about a little bit. There's going to be some information there about the SAT and ACT signups. There's going to be some prompts for the Common Application. The Common Application is used by over 900 colleges. So a lot of our students will be using the Common App. So it's definitely good information. And then there's some career pathways. And then there's a worksheet on the Mass CIS, which explains to you how to go and do some career searches, but also more importantly, do college searches and looking at for different colleges that fulfill what you're looking for academically, location, so forth. So here we go. Tip 1, Research your colleges, career technical institutions, requirements, and their costs. We've already met with the juniors. We've met with your son or daughter, and we've started to have them think about the future. They should be looking now at colleges. They should be coming up with a list of schools. They should be looking at potential careers. They should be looking at military. These are all the things that you want to be doing now. You don't want to wait till September to all of a sudden say, maybe I should be looking at that. Because one of the things you're going to find out, are SATs or ACTs required? Now, I will say that probably high 90% of all the colleges are remaining test optional. There are a few out there that are asking for SATs or ACTs. So this is a good time to sort of reach out to those colleges that you're really interested in to make sure. Are there any additional requirements? Do you have to do an interview? Is there a particular major that you're looking at and all of a sudden you look at it and you go, maybe I'll switch the course that I'm in right now that I've asked for and go into this one because this looks like it'll help me a lot more. The other is sticker price. You need to look at the cost of the schools and make sure that you have colleges that fulfill all of the students' needs, but also financially at the end of the day, something that you can afford. Now, I will say, don't not apply to a college because of the cost. Apply to the school, put your financial aid information in, and then when you get the financial aid packets, then you can start making a decision on what the final sticker price is. Visit the schools. A lot of the colleges and the technical institutions, they're opening up their campuses. They're doing small meetings, where they're letting you go around campus. A lot of them, the buildings are still closed, but you're able to meet with admissions staff and walk around the campus. I would suggest that you do the virtual tour before you do that. The virtual tours have been amazing. A lot of them have improved them so much that before you get on that campus, you have a good sense of what it's all about. And from that virtual tour, you're probably going to come up with some questions that you can take advantage of and asking them when you're walking around. Some will have open houses, and you again take advantage of that. Attend the fairs. Information is going out through emails, through the Twitter, through the Google Classroom, talking about national college fairs coming up. There's the New England College Fair, and we've given you the links right here. It's pretty easy. You can go in. If you have particular schools, you can just click on those schools and you can be part of that conversation with that school. SATs, ACTs, I would say register for them. If you can find a spot that's giving them and you want to take them, take them. I'm also suggesting that you don't send them to any colleges at this point. So take them, get the scores back, and then you decide when it comes time to apply whether you're going to share those SATs with that school or not. If you find your scores support your application, then it might be something to do. If you find that it doesn't, then you can say, hey, I'm not going to share. So when you're filling out applications and it asks you to self-report, you're not going to self-report. When you're filling out the application to take the test and it asks, do you want to name colleges that you want the scores sent to? No, you're not putting any of those schools down. So again, take the tests. You have a couple more times this year. You have, usually they do it in August. You'll do it again in October. And for any students that are applying for early action, that still gives you plenty of time. You can look at all the scores. You can talk to your counselor. And then you can decide whether you want to add them and send them on. Complete your brag sheet. This is an important form. It's sort of a combination brag sheet, activity sheet. The brag sheet gives us information about you, what you've done over the 4 years, whether it be in school or out of school. Gives teachers, it gives the counselors an opportunity to see what you do again, outside of school. There's a lot of things we might not know that you're involved in outside of school. So when we write a recommendation, we can personalize it if there's information on there that we can use. Now, one of the things that we ask you to do is we ask you to go and find 2 teachers for recommendations. And we ask you to do that before the end of the school year. Number one, it's the polite thing to do. We don't want to have all of a sudden the teachers rushed by students in September and they have 3 weeks to get recommendations out. The other is that some teachers have a certain limit on the number of recommendations that they can get out. So it would be terrible if one of your top teachers that you would like to do a recommendation, if you go to them in September and they say, geez, I'm really sorry, I've got way too many right now. So ask the teachers. It's at that time you can say to them, I have prepared my brag sheet. I'll email it to you, or when I complete it, I'll send it to you. Also, make sure that on that brag sheet that you project out what you're going to be doing your senior year. So don't just say, well, this is what I've done freshman, sophomore, junior, because my senior year is not here yet. Project out. Yes, if you're going to play that sport, you did it this year, you're going to do it next year. If you're going to be in rainwater, put down rainwater again. If you did the math team, put on the math team. Make sure that you put down for all 4 years. And as I mentioned, the letters of recommendation, you should ask 2 teachers. And again, you give them the brag sheet. And I will tell you a thank you note. I have a hard time, I'll say it, even if it's an email. You can send them an email thanking them for, taking the time to do the recommendation. But if you want to do a note and leave it at the front office, they can put it in their mailbox. That would be wonderful. So here's your guidance counselors. Here's all our emails. Again, please reach out to us at any time. If you have any questions whatsoever, again, parents, if you have questions, get to us. Students, the students are getting so much better. We get emails at 11 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the morning, during school time when they have questions or if they would like to come down to see us. So we would like to continue that. The COVID has been very difficult for most of us, but in this situation, it certainly has helped with communication back and forth with students, parents, and the counselors. Art and music majors, you need to be real careful if you're thinking of majoring in either one of these. The art schools, in most cases, almost, I would say 90%, they're going to ask for a portfolio. So if they are, that's something that you should be working on now. It should be something you're putting together during the summer. You should have an idea of what some of the requirements are. If you're taking portfolio or you're in one of the advanced art classes here, you certainly could talk to your art teacher and get a better sense of how they can help you. But don't put this off. If they require a portfolio, you need to find out what type of portfolio and how it's uploaded or whether they want it sent in person. If you're considering music, in many cases, they're asking for auditions. And in some situations, you can't even apply until you've had an audition. So if again, music, performance, any of those, you need to make sure that you understand that and do them early. If you wait, a lot of times you call and they'll say, I'm sorry, the audition spots are all filled. Well, how can they all be filled? Well, they are. So make sure you jump on top of this if you're involved with art and music. NCAA, if there's any chance you could play Division I or Division II sports, then you should definitely go on to the NCAA Eligibility Center, register, take care of that. You only have to do it once. At that point, it's sent through guidance, and we make sure that when you graduate, that your final transcript is sent to that college. I'm sorry, to the NCAA. And so don't panic if you see during your senior year that it says you're not eligible. Well, you're not eligible because you haven't fulfilled all the requirements. They have to wait until they get your final transcript to go through and make that. But if there's any chance, Division I or II, you need to make sure that you've done this. Research career technical schools. Make sure that if you need a license or an accreditation, that the program has that. This is real important. We have more and more students every year who want, and I'm so happy about it, that go into being an electrician, into welding, into being a plumber, any of those diesel mechanics, any of those areas. There's thousands of them out there. This is the time to do some of that research. This is the time to look at the schools that offer that. A lot of students say, well, I'm just going to go start working in the trade. This day and age, to have some training with it to help you with licensure, it's better to go to one of these schools. And a lot of these schools let you work during the day, and they'll let you then take courses at night. So reach out to your guidance counselor if you're having trouble finding schools that offer the trades that you're interested in, or if you're really not sure what trade, but you think you'd like to get involved, come down and meet with us. We'll go through. We have, different resources that we can use to help you out there. Military. If you're thinking about the military, I'd say start now. You're under 18, so you really, when you go to meet with a recruiter, I would suggest that a parent be present so that you can get a good idea of what it's all about, because it's not about just going into the military. It's about what are the offerings? What are the positive things that I can get from joining the military? Can they help me educationally? Can they help me career-wise? Do I have options as far as the fields that I want to go into? So this is the time to start to do some of that, get that information. And next year, when you decide that you want to sign up, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable. If you're interested in any of the military service academies, that's really something that needs to be started now as juniors. You should be talking to your counselor ASAP on that one. The ASFAB. The ASFAB is a career interest inventory. It's the largest one used in the world, but it just so happens to be the one that the military uses. And they use it to point out your strengths and weaknesses, mostly your strengths, so they can say, based on your score, these are the types of areas that you could go into. And it could be intelligence, it could be mechanical, it could be computer science. All this ASFAB takes well over 2.5 hours. And when the results come back, the person that gave them will sit down with you, go through the scores, and then show you how to go into a computer program to look up careers based on your scores. It's a great opportunity. We've offered it twice every year. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, we were unable to. It looks like there's a good chance we might not be able to offer it again this spring. But we definitely will have it in the fall. The other is, if you look at this slide, there's an event coming up on the 26th of April. I would say absolutely worth going to. Students and parents alike. It's definitely worth getting the information. Looking for scholarships. This is probably the most tedious part of the college process. There are scholarships out there. There's scholarships for anyone and everyone, but doing the research on them is really difficult. I would say towards the end of your junior year, you go into a lot of these scholarship sites and you start putting in your profile. And they will start sending you scholarships based on your profile. If you were to go in randomly right now, you'd see a lot of scholarships that seniors are going for. But when you fill your profile out and you say that you're graduating in 2022, then they will hold off sending you things just randomly. Also, we have our own scholarships here, our own Google Classroom that you can stay on top of. Outside scholarships that come into us, we post them in there, but then we also have all the local scholarships that are in there. And the seniors, next year, the seniors will be they'll have meetings concerning this. They'll be explained how to go about getting the information and also filling out applications at the appropriate time. Part of this also is a citizen scholarship. Many of you have known about that. It's why you used to do a door-to-door drive. We haven't been able to do that. So this year, they've been selling raffle tickets. Each student that wants to apply for the citizen scholarship has to do at least 2 volunteers. So there's opportunities, and those be explained to the students on how they can get both those done if they haven't done it, any of them yet, next year. Applications. There's two types of applications. There's the common application, and then there's specific applications. As I said earlier, the common application takes care of about over 900 colleges. So on those, you just go in and you fill out all of the general information, and then you're able to send that application. You designate the colleges that you want to go to it, and then the colleges have some specific questions that you have to answer, and then you pay for it and you upload it. You invite teachers, they upload your recommendation. You invite your counselor, they upload transcripts and recommendations. It's a pretty easy process, but I will suggest that when it opens up August 1st, that you go in there, you fill in all of the basic information, all of the information that you have available, get it done. Also work on your essay, because if you come back in September and you have October 1st, October 15th deadlines, you're going to be scurrying around trying to get everything in. Now, the specific applications, so let's say you apply to a college out in Western Mass and they don't use the common application. So in that particular case, you have to go in under admissions and then you click application and you open up an account and you start filling in that application. I would suggest the same thing. If any of the colleges use specific, go in and work on it during the summer, fill in as much as possible, and then just leave it alone. Questions, comments, and concerns. At this point, again, you have all of our email addresses. If you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll help you as best we can. Thank you.
And I think we all echo Mr. Barber's statement there that we're here for you. We want to help you, and just send us an email on your own and say, I need to be seen. We'll find what class you're in and we'll call you down and have a meeting with you. Regarding the Common App, I know that we kind of talked briefly about it, but next year the counselors will work with you on the Common App as well. In the past, we've been able to have what we call Senior Week, and we really have an opportunity to get you down into the computer labs and be able to do it as a group, working on your the Mass CIS, the Common App, some financial aid stuff, some scholarship stuff, and hopefully we are able to do that again next year. If not, though, you just reach out to your counselors and through a Google Meet or in person one-on-one, they will be able to help you. Counselors, if you'd like to add anything to that.
I think you've covered it well. I think it's important for the students to remember that we are here. So for them to reach out with any questions, not to wait to be called down. If they have specific questions, we can answer them, hopefully quickly, rather than have them hang out there and not move on with the process.
Absolutely. And I just want to point out again, too, that your email from your BR email, we'll get that email right away. You should check it if you get something back from us. We don't use it for fluff. We use it for getting specific information to you. If you're trying to communicate with a college, don't use your BR email address. It'll go out, but you can't receive anything back from them. So that part we talked about in the beginning, getting a professional account that you can use for your college reps, employers, the military. The BR email won't come back to you from outside of, but we check our emails daily and we will see that you need to see us, and we'll find you and we'll get down to you. And don't, like Mrs. Holgren just said, don't let something fester and say, I just can't do it because I don't know how. Ask. We're here to help you.
Also, to take away some of the mystery of the common application, when you're doing the common application during the summer, you're going to find a lot of questions on there you're not going to have answers for. And you're going to be frustrated and you're going to be saying, I don't have this information. You will get a lot of the information. We put together what we call a little cheat sheet on how to process through the application, and it's going to give you the different answers on if it's a weighted or an unweighted scale, what your GPA is. That's all information we're going to give you. So that's why I said, back at the beginning, fill out as much information as you can, leave the rest of it alone. You'll get more information when you return.
Mrs. Smith is our guru on that, and she always creates a nice step-by-step. She walks you right through the process. You'll get that when you get returned to school. We can't do it yet because there's some information that won't be available until September next year. So as Mr. Barber said, you can get started with basic information and just hold tight until we get that information to you from Mrs. Smith. She'll put a nice little packet together and we'll get that out to you. So if we have, we pretty much have covered everything. We're going to post this for you, and you'll be able to look it over. And if you have questions after you're viewing this, please reach out to us. We wish you the best of luck. Keep working hard, kids.